So guys, I really do love the L mount Alliance. I love the idea, and I really respect and like a lot of what the different members of the L mount Alliance do. In fact, there's 10 complete members of the L mount Alliance as of the recording of this video. Hopefully we get even more. I just want to quickly make a tier list, in my opinion, of who is doing the most for the L mount, who's doing maybe not as much, and ranking them all. Again, as usual with tier list videos, I think it should go without saying, this is my opinion. Even though my opinion is correct, everybody's entitled to their own, and it's mostly just for fun, so don't think about it too hard, because I certainly didn't. But yeah, let's just get into it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree with my ranking or not. And so let's start with, in a lot of ways, the big dog of the L mount Alliance, Leica. That's where the L comes from, I guess, right? So Leica, they have their SL cameras. They have a lot of really amazing high-end stuff. Some may say too high-end. And that's probably the argument that I would make, which is they're kind of like A-tier cameras with like F-tier prices. Some may say they're super overpriced. I understand that you are paying for something other than just the specs and the camera. There's a sort of abstract, ethereal, vibes-based thing that you can't really account for. But at the end of the day, the cameras are maybe, photography-wise, a little step above other things that is available from other manufacturers. The lenses have a certain quality, but many are pretty similar to alternatives out there. And so I think that's going to equal out to a C for me. A little overrated, super overpriced, still very good. Can't really argue with that. All right, and then let's go to the guys that really have my heart, Panasonic. We're shooting on a Panasonic camera, a Panasonic lens right now, and especially for video, but photos too, really. I think Panasonic has been doing some amazing stuff. The S1R, while not a great video camera in some ways, but is a fantastic photography tool. The S12, despite its issues, is one of the better value cameras as long as you can have backups or don't mind the heat. There's been some pretty interesting lenses coming out. We got that pancake zoom for the S9. We got that amazing travel 28 to 200. And most interestingly, recently we got the 24 to 60 really compact zoom lens, which I think is great that they're finally pushing past the very standard 1.8 primes, 2.8 zooms, very standard focal ranges. And yeah, you've got your basic stuff from Lumix, your really awesome hybrid cameras from Lumix, but they're not quite an S tier in my opinion. I'm going to put them in A, specifically because we don't have any compact primes for the system yet, which is a little bit of a bummer, with the S9 being so fantastic. And we don't have the S1H. And then we've got Sigma, pretty incredible. So they make great lenses, obviously. In the last year, I've looked on the channel, the 28 to 45 f1.8 for full frame, the 17 to 40 f1.8 for crop sensors, which works great on the older S9 or S5 II series of cameras. My personal most used lens by far for full frame is the 28 to 105 f2.8, really like a one and done lens. And I love their primes too, the 1.4 and the 1.2 Super Pro primes, all the way down to the small compact I-series primes. And I think this is where Sigma trips a little bit. Like, the BF is great from like a marketing standpoint and a design proof of concept standpoint, but from a practicality standpoint, if you wanted to be like a main daily driver with Sigma, it's just tough. There's not a perfect photo camera, not a perfect video camera. There's some great cinema options. There's a great like everyday option with the BF. But even then, I might pick the S9 over the BF for like stabilization and things like that. So it's tough. I think I still have to give Sigma an A. Let's do that right now. You know, they could be an S if they had a great camera, they'd be probably an S. They're still pushing the lens design, innovation, and image quality so far forward. Even like the new, there's an updated, more lenses, 135, 20 to 200 super zoom that looks actually not terrible, and the 200 millimeter f2, which is just crazy. Yeah, they've got to go in A tier for me. Next is going to be lights. And you may be wondering, who is that? Same. Okay, this is an interesting one to just think about, which is DJI, which not a lot in the way of lenses. So you can probably already tell where that's going to go. We're grading on lenses and cameras here. So looking at DJI, I mean, we have a crazy set of cameras, the Ronin 4D, 6 and 8K version. The 8K being a very similarly, very suspiciously similar sensor to the S1R. Interesting. But of course, they've got the full chicken head cinema rig shooting Netflix original series vibes. And that makes it a super unique camera. And that gets at a lot of points. No lenses. That one's going to hurt. So yeah, thankfully we've got Leica, Lumix, and Sigma with lenses that are fully compatible with the Ronin 4D with, I think, just a mount swap or some kind of adapter, but they are in the mount. So those cameras are going to be considered working basically seamlessly with those lenses. So yeah, I'm going to give DJI a C. I think they have a lot of potential. It'd be interesting to see if they did develop some more cameras and even some lenses for the L mount. They're pretty basic lenses for the Ronin 4D just because they have to meet certain requirements for like weight and size and things like that. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. So anyway, DJI is going in C. Let's move on. Samyang. We just talked about these guys the other day, so I don't want to go through everything, but they're one of the most exciting companies to me, and they have a lot of potential. In fact, right after I released that video, they announced, I think there's going to be like 2 or 3 or 4 lenses that they are like, we're working on them. We're going to send them out. I promise. That being said, they've only released like that one single lens in like years of being in the L mount alliance. And so how long is it going to take for these new lenses to come out? I don't know. I want to put them in D. I'm going to be so nice and put them in C, just because they just announced those new lenses. I want to encourage them to announce more. Are they the lenses I would want to see for the system? Maybe not, but hey, Samyang, seriously, like, let's work with some more creators. Let's talk to some people and let's figure out what the L mount needs and what you could provide to them that would have a unique value, you know? And next on our list is Astro. And you may be thinking, who is that? Same. I'm sorry. I know these guys aren't really like, members in the traditional sense of like the other companies, but it's just funny that it's like, who are you? What's going on? Moving on. Blackmagic. Incredible. Again, we have another company that is not really making lenses for the system, but why bother? There's so many great options out there. Lumix, Sigma, Leica. Honestly, if you can't find a lens between those 3, what are you doing? What are you doing that you don't have the perfect lens between just those 3? That's not even talking about these new guys coming in. So personally, I'm like, dude, what? I mean, let me know. Let me know one lens you would like to see on L mount. But anyway, Blackmagic, they've got some great cameras. I mean, they've been working in the L mount for a while now, which is so much better than the EF and mount that they used to do. I wish they would release a new Micro Four Thirds camera for sure, but that's a topic for a different day. The L mount stuff that they're putting out, especially now that they're incorporating a little bit more autofocus, is really exciting. It's really great. And I definitely think that they earn a solid B despite having no lenses at all. But again, who needs them? And now we have Sirui, which is, I think, the second most recent member, and they only have one entry so far. They're 85 1.4, which is a great lens for a pretty great price if you need a 1.4, but you don't quite have Sigma money laying around. And I do know that they're planning on releasing more lenses. So despite their single offering, they've only been in the alliance for this year, less than a year for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and give Sirui a C with a lot of potential to go into the B or even A tier, especially if they can release a full set of those 1.4 lenses, kind of like how 7 Artisans is releasing a whole set of 1.8 lenses for a fantastic price. And also, you might be wondering, why no 7 Artisans in this list? Well, they're not in the L-Mount Alliance officially. They're a third-party lens manufacturer, so they don't count, and you might have some unexpected issues with them, depending on how you use them. So anyway, on to the next one, our last member of the L-Mount Alliance, which is Viltrox. So they just joined, so they have nothing available. I do know, since my video on them, which you can watch here if you want to, they are developing a 16mm f1.8 wide angle, which is a great wide angle prime. Outside of like the Lumix 18mm, I'm not sure how many fast wide primes there are, like wider than 20mm, I should say, ultra wide primes. And they're going to release that pancake lens we talked about in that video as well. So those are, I think, great starting points for the L mount, although I wish the Lab 1.2 or something like that would come out. Oh, 35mm 1.2. That would be sick. But I get it. They want to start a little bit more modest and go from there. Totally get it. But I think with the huge potential Viltrox has and those two things being announced already, I'm going to give them a B. Just that compact prime alone earns their spot and is a super unique and needed lens for the system. So anyway, yeah, that's my ranking. That's my video. I think it all makes sense. Maybe I put Samyang too high. Maybe they deserve to be lower just for the disappointment. But they really brought me back with the announcement of those new lenses. So yeah, I don't know, you guys. Tell me what you think down below. And yeah, that's my ranking. Let me know if I got any super far off. Let me know what your highest ranking one would be. And maybe talk about some other companies you'd love to see in the L-Mount Alliance to keep this system growing and expanding and getting more users, because in my opinion, the more the merrier, because the competition is going to drive innovation up and drive prices down. And, you know, we all win when that happens. So anyway, cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Shout out to my cat in the background. She came back just for this outro. Hey, BMO. B, you have anything to say to the subscribers? She does not. All right. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, if you did subscribe, I will see you when I see you. Peace.